Welcome to the Bulletproof Cashflow podcast, the go-to place to gain financial freedom through real estate investing. Here we interview investors, mentors, and entrepreneurs who share their secrets and advice to help you build passive income. Let's get into the show.
Hey everyone, it's Augustino. Making the leap from employee to real estate entrepreneur entails a world of challenges, unpredictability, and commitment. Leaving behind the seemingly secure 9-to-5 job and a steady paycheck to pursue dreams of real estate gold is not for the faint of heart. Well, today's guest is a long-term real estate investor and entrepreneur that had to reinvent himself after overcoming some dire challenges. In the aftermath of 9/11, he spent time questioning what he wanted out of life, and that experience brought to the surface some predominant need to change. So he decided to reinvent himself and take on some new challenges in residential and commercial real estate. So he made the shift from a commodities broker to building a real estate career, rehabbing homes, and then transitioning to apartment buildings. So today he's grown his passion and has invested in 2,000 units and founded a property management company that handled 7,000 units. So he has now shifted his focus to commercial real estate. Additionally, he has authored 3 books on real estate, including The Cashflow Mindset, Millionaire, Billionaire, and Zillionaire Designs for Financial Freedom and a Fulfilled Life. With all that, I'd like to welcome Alan Schnur to the show. Hey, Alan, thanks for coming on.
Agustino, thanks for having me. Boy, that was a mouthful, huh?
I know.
Good job.
There's a lot of stuff to cover, man.
You summarized my life in 90 seconds.
There we go. There we go. Well, before we go on, though, all right, yeah. If you like what Alan has to say, you can reach him via his website at greatpartners.com. That's great spelled to GR8 partners.com. If you like our content, please don't forget to leave a comment and rate the show. And finally, if you text the word freedom to 202-410-4202, you can receive our free ebook, The Bulletproof Guide to Finding a Broker. Okay, Alan, tell the listeners about how you got started with all this real estate stuff.
Okay, so we're gonna take this from the beginning, and the New Yorker that I am, I'll speed it up for us. But boy, so tragedy. You know, unfortunately, everything starts with tragedy, and I found myself working on Wall Street. I found myself working in the World Trade Center. I found myself on September 10th, 2001. On the 101st floor of the World Trade Center where I worked, and 40 of us were getting ready to take a business trip. Unfortunately, the software product wasn't ready on time. 39 people canceled their trip, and I was the only one that left that afternoon after the spot market. Jumped on an elevator, went down 2 banks, and headed off to Newark Airport. So, you know, we all remember where we were on 9/11. You know, sometimes when you mix emotion with information, you never forget, you know, those images that you run across your mind. And for me, waking up that morning, what can I tell you? I guess, you know, my life totally changed. Phone was ringing off the hook. One of my traders called me up. He said, hey, turn on the TV. And we figured out together slowly what was happening, and I could hear all the voices in the background. We had these squawk boxes in this business. We were always connected with each other, and it was heartbreaking. It was scary, and then that second plane hit, and we realized the world was never going to be the same. So now I find myself stuck in this hotel room in Portland. Flew from New York City, Hoboken, New Jersey, where I lived, and it was definitely one of the worst days of my life. The company I worked for, Cantor Fitzgerald, I had 1,000 employees, 700 people died that day. I lost 40 out of 44 teammates, and then all the first responders and everyone else who chipped in to help and save lives. That day changed my life. And even the next day, I mean, I just sat there. I was in this hotel room for a week, stuck, and I had to really take apart my life, figure out what was working, what wasn't working, how I was going to make changes, how I was going to make it better, how I was going to build a family, and how I was going to get serious, and how I was going to make things bigger. And through that tragedy and the stories and all the people that I lost in my life, I made some massive changes, and that led me into the real estate business, which we're about to talk about. But I just want to relate to all your listeners, you know, sometimes in life, things aren't going well. Sometimes in life, you hit a brick wall. Sometimes in life, you're just confused. You're down, you're out. There's always the next day. right? There's always the next day to turn things around. Could even be that one moment to turn things around. So, make it happen. If you really want to make it happen, make it happen.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Alan,
Yep.
I mean, you never know when your number is going to be up. And I'm sure
Right.
that when those people went to work that day, they had no idea. So it's what you have to live every day
Right.
like it's your last. You have to really commit. And
so those are some of the thoughts going through my mind that week that I spent by myself. How can I turn this ship around as fast as possible, have the biggest impact? And look, I want to make a lot of money. We all want to make a lot of money. We all want better things for our family, our friends, and for ourselves and for our charities. And real estate is, it's key. I mean, real estate is just so key. It's just like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I mean, number one, shelter. I mean, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I mean, you might do a little mixed use and throw some restaurants on the first floor and, housing on the second floor. But, it's just, if you want to get involved, I know your listeners, some of them are new. It's time to get involved. I'm talking to 500 people tonight, a lot of newbies in the housing business. And one of the pieces of information I'm going to leave them with is, look, just buy one. Just buy one, do it, take the action. And depending on how it goes, 3, 6, 9 months later, go buy another one. And now you'll have 2. And figure it out if it's really for you, if it's, what it's meant to be. And if those 2 work for you, well, then I believe in doubling down. So even if you sell them, then go buy 2. And if those 2 work for you, then go buy 4. Before you know it, you'll have 20, or you'll have 20 sold, and you will have built your bank, which will lead us to the next part of our conversation. It's something I've created. It's called the evolution of a real estate investor. A lot of people start with the houses, then they finally graduate to multifamily. And if you're going to do the houses, and if you build your bank correctly, you're going to have enough money for your down payment. You're going to know how to syndicate. You're going to know how to get some money from friends and family and take some lessons, hire a mentor, read some books. Go shop apartment buildings. Again, we're not reinventing the wheel. They're all over the place. If someone else is making money, why not you? Why not you? You can do it. You can totally do it. If I can do it, you can do it. If Agostino can do it, we can all do it. It's just some people take action in life, others don't. So why ask that question. So back to my corporate story. Cantor Fitzgerald, they moved me to Houston, Texas. They closed down like 90, 120 days later. And I launched a small commodity firm doing the same thing. Again, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I did the same thing they trained me to do, but I did it for myself and the firm. And it worked out well. But I had this philosophy: get a bonus, buy a house, get a bonus, buy a house, get a bonus, buy a house. Well, you know what? I got a bonus every month. And for 10 years straight, once a month, I bought a rental property, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a house, fixed it up $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, refinanced everything, had nothing in it. Before I knew it, I had a few hundred houses. A decade goes by, and I say to myself, there's got to be an easier way. It's not a bad way, but an easier way. And that's how I did that switch over to the apartment business, which is true. There's a 34-unit apartment building has 1 roof. 34 houses have 34 houses. So it's true. I almost made the same amount of money on 34 units than 34 houses. So I like to start slow and get comfortable and take apart the financials and the balance sheets and the profit and loss statements and really get in there and figure things out before I scale. I like to scale. If you don't want to scale, then enjoy the podcast. But I'm all about the numbers, doing things as fast as possible once you have a thorough understanding what you're involved in. So I bought a few hundred houses, and then I ended up buying a few thousand apartment units, right? Every month, like I said, I bought a house for 10 years straight, and then I figured out how to buy some communities. Then I was fortunate enough to capture the commercial downturn in the apartment business in around 2010. So I was definitely averaging down, unfortunately. I think the first apartment complex I bought, the price was $23,000 a door. Wow. And then every 90 days for 5 years, I kid you not, I bought an apartment complex, 34 units, 56 units, 74, 100, 120, and then 160, on and on and on and on and on. And I had 18 apartment complexes. I was syndicating. I was doing the property management. I was thoroughly understanding everything I was involved in. And then I woke up one day and I said, you know what? There's got to be a better way, the easier way. And I took all the houses and I sold the majority of them. And I took all those apartments, all those complexes, and I just sold the last one like 3, 4, 5 months ago. And the numbers are great. I mean, I don't mind sharing this with you folks because I'm here to not show off, but to show and to inspire. I bought approximately $50 million of apartment buildings, and we sold them all for $80 million. We held them for a good 5, 7 years. We cash flowed them and we took care of them. Now, the numbers actually might not sound too large to your listeners because now we're seeing like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 unit price tags. But we were buying this stuff at $5,000 a unit, $7,500 a unit. We were getting in there fighting over the hundreds, not thousands.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's right.
So I found myself a few years ago kind of asking myself, what's next? I do that a lot in life, and I think people should do that, a lot in life. What's next? And I feel like every 5 years we reinvent ourselves. So I had a good 5, 10 years in the housing business. I had a good 5 years and change in the multifamily house business. And now I'm like 3.5 years into a retail shopping center strip business model. I've picked up a few dozen shopping center strips. I know we're going to dive into some of them right now and start talking about triple net lease commercial real estate. But I want to slow down a little. The coffee's kicking in, the New Yorker in me's kicking in, and you're in Ohio, so I'm feeling closer to the East Coast, and it's 80 degrees here in Texas. So why don't you chime in for a second and let's decide what we're going to take apart here.
Well, first off, I mean, that's a massive growth. And I think right from the onset, though, it involved you sitting back and really deciding where you're going to take life next, right? I think that's a big part of it. I find that many people that come out to our live events, many people that inquire about coaching or anything else like that, it seems like there's a degree of uncertainty on their part, right? Maybe it's fear or something like that. Now, were you afraid? And if so, how'd you overcome that? Like, how did you overcome that? Did you get coaching? Did you get help? Did you talk to someone? How'd you do it?
So after 9/11, I had a really nice lifestyle living in Hoboken, New Jersey, working on the top of the World Trade Center. And it was, talking about who knows what's going to happen every morning before you wake up. I mean, after that event, I was more or less on unemployment. I went from making a nice salary to being on unemployment. And I started reading the Robert Kiyosaki books, the Purple books, and I started going to the local clubs. And I paid someone, I think it was like $8,000 or $10,000 on a credit card to teach me how to buy houses. And that was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. In hindsight, it was crazy. But this guy taught me how to buy houses. And I actually bought more than 400 houses, but I cash flowed 400 houses and I ran the rental portfolio. I also had a flipping machine. But I can tell you that I made an investment in myself. I made an investment in another individual. He taught me how to buy my first the first house I bought was Alvin, Texas, $23,000. I put $7,000 into it. I'm in it for 30. It looks awesome. It's your typical 3-bedroom, 1-bath house in the middle of nowhere, America. And that was it. I think I made $100 a month cash flow. And I have a saying in my book, if you could do it once, you could do it 10 times. And if you could do it 10 times, you could do it 100 times. And if you could do it 100 times, you could do it 1,000 times. That's exactly what I did in the housing business. So it was scary pulling out the credit card, explaining to my friends and family what I was up to, and probably before a lot of people's time, but you and I were talking earlier, I bought all that infomercial stuff. Remember the Carlton sheets?
Carlton sheets.
I was nervous, I was nervous to spend $39.95 buying a book on how to creatively finance a house, or knock on someone's door. But it all added up. It brings character, and we got it done. So I guess there's a saying in life, if someone can teach you how to make $1 million, how much would you pay them? I'll let the listeners decide.
Right. I mean, because you've already made that money back.
Right. Oh yeah.
And then some.
Right.
By getting that knowledge, and you could never have gotten that knowledge
Right.
if you would have been afraid to spend that little bit of money.
Right. So definitely do. Okay. So yeah, get over your fears, get a teacher, get a mentor, buy some books, surround yourself with some pretty smart people. Nothing new, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing, and really what I equate it to is that fear of uncertainty becomes the reasoning or the fake logic, so to speak, around the why you don't do something. Because I don't know, so I'm not going to do anything.
Just having this conversation the other day with somebody, I'm like one of the most fearful people there are. The problem is if I don't stand up to it, then it beats me, and I don't want to be beaten. So it drives me to overcome. I mean, I love it when I'm getting ready to buy a $16.5 million shopping center in Gilbert, Arizona. I mean, that could be kind of fearful. Retail is not the most exciting thing, or people are afraid of retail. We'll talk about it soon because it's actually a huge opportunity. But without being fearful, there's definitely no success.
That's right. Well, okay, so let's talk about that now. So I'm involved with.
Is this a personal development show or a real estate?
Well, but you know what though? A big part of it is the mindset. Yes. That's where it all starts, right? I mean,
you're right.
I used to be I started just like you did, the whole single family thing. I didn't even know that multifamily was even a thing. I thought banks owned all the multifamily. I had
right.
idea, right? And then once I studied it and learned it, then I got the formula. Then I decided to do it, but it took a decision, right? And it's really what I find is that many people struggle with making that decision and then committing to it. That's the hard part.
That's such the hard part. And kudos for what you do. Because think about all the people that listen to you and they don't do anything. But the good news is somebody will. You will influence somebody, which is fantastic.
I hope so.
Unfortunately,
that's why we do this. That's why we do all this.
It might not be 99 it might be 1 out of 100, but I can tell you one thing. I graduated on the bottom of my high school class, and I used to sit in a RIA like training room the first Saturday of every month here in Houston. I kid you not, there must have been around 2,000 people.
Wow.
And I'm humble and I'm modest, but I'm telling you, I'm one of the most successful students to come out of those Saturday morning meetings here in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
So keep it up.
But you committed to it.
Totally.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If someone shows you how to make $50 or $100 or $200-$300 of passive income on a house, it's the whole Robert Kiyosaki principle. How many can you do? That's
right.
And I did, right? I kept nothing in my checking account. I was running red the whole entire, if there was an extra $20,000, we were buying a house.
But that's the thing though, too. It takes courage to make money. It takes courage to make money, So in this deal you're talking about right now, so I'm doing a big commercial deal myself. I can't really talk too much about it right now.
Okay.
But I will in upcoming shows. But you're doing that big deal, the 16.5 million, right?
Right.
In Arizona. There's a level of risk involved. If you don't pick it right, they're coming after you. Even if it is, quote, a non-recourse loan, believe me, someone will be knocking on your door.
Right.
Hey, where's Alan at? He owes us some money.
Yeah.
So how do you overcome that fear? As you keep on growing, you keep on adding more stuff.
Right.
Do you have the fear anymore, or does it show up as something else?
No, I do. That's why I'm probably more cash heavy than ever. But I've purchased $100 million of commercial real estate over the last 2 years. And like everything I do, I start off small. And the first shopping center strip I bought was like 10,000 square feet. Let me give you a great example. Call it 12,000 square feet for this conversation. You got 6 stores, 2,000 square feet a store. You buy something that has, and this is a real story. I bought it in Boise, Idaho. Three have tenants and 3 don't. All right. And you buy it in a true net operating, an NOI number. So you're buying at 50% of what it's worth, 50 cents on the dollar right there. And that's exactly what we did. So we bought it for $1 million and we put $300,000 down, and we found a really good leasing agent. And over a 12-month period, he brings in like an AT&T, a Taco Del Mar, and a hearing aid company. And now I'm 100% full. And then I can turn around like 18 months later and sell this thing for $2.5 million. So, just $300,000 down, and definitely net more than like $1.2 million after closing costs. That's it, 3 tenants. So I did that a few dozen times. Well, I did that like 18. I bought around 18 of those type of deals, 10, 15, 20,000 square feet. Got used to the business, kind of dipped my toe in the water, got comfortable, got over all my fears. What if it goes vacant? What if the tenants don't show up and stuff like that? And then I started scaling up, just like I started scaling up from the houses to the apartments. And even in the apartments, which is so great about the apartment business, you get to, when you scale, you see dollar and cents. You can measure your progress by how much money you're taking in or how much money you're keeping. So you go from a 34 unit to a 56 to a 100 unit to 160. Same thing here in commercial real estate in the retail shopping center business. We go from a 10,000 square foot shopping center to a 15,000 square foot shopping center. And each square foot is rented out for, call it $3, $4, $5, $6 or $20 a square foot. So you get to see yourself grow. And now, we're talking about Gilbert, Arizona, where I'm buying a 125,000 square foot shopping center, which would have probably scared the heck out of me 2 years ago. This is the 6th time I'm doing it now. I got another 5 here in Houston or the surrounding Texas area. So between me and my partner and the syndication, we have around 1 million square feet right now, which was unattainable. I mean, unattainable. Can you imagine in this day and age who would own brick and mortar? With Amazon coming at you, it's not the case. I'm going to get off my soapbox in a minute, but these are just typical, these are hard corners in the United States. 50, 60, 70,000 cars a day are going by. This is a great opportunity for people to be buying retail shopping centers because nobody wants them. And therefore, cap rates are high, values are low, and the cash flow is unbelievable. We were talking about it before we started the show. And we're buying 8, 9, 10 cap deals. We're borrowing money at 3.5%. We're spreading the deal between the bank, at 5.5 points. And I'll slow down a little, but the deal I'm talking about right now, we're going to borrow $10 million. 5.5 point spread is $550,000. I don't even have to do anything. The deal comes with $1.4 million of net operating income. It has $900,000 of free flow cash flow from day one. I have the opportunity to put out parcels in the front of the shopping center. I have the opportunities of raising rents. It's not even an opportunity. They're baked in 1 to 3% per tenant every year. So I have all these different ways of making money. And but I guess what I'm really getting at is getting over your fear. And the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Right. Well, one thing to notice, though, before we go in and ask questions about the whole commercial thing is that you focused. So previously you were doing housing. First it was houses and then it was multifamily. Then you sold all of that, doubled down on commercial. So the focus on one thing and becoming excellent at it is something it seems to me that you really do, right? That focus is super key. I mean, I focus on multifamily right now. And it's one thing that I tell a lot of people that come out to our live events. They're trying to do everything under the sun. They're wholesaling. They're doing multifamily.
You know what they're burning the wick. They're burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we can lose some good people this way. Because if you can help people make a lot of money, we all know this, and we can help people make a lot of money, then they're going to have beautiful lives, and all the people around them are going to have beautiful lives. And, who knows? Maybe someone's kid goes on to discover the cure for cancer. I mean, just because someone started listening to you and deciding on how to, I call it tunnel focus, by the way. You really got to just focus on one thing. But, as we go through this spectrum of real estate, the evolution of real estate, as you get further down the spectrum and you're involved in triple net leases and commercial real estate, you can actually branch off to other areas to keep life interesting. Let me explain. I have 100,000 square feet of warehouse from Colorado to Arizona. I bought a few vacant buildings. I put Fortune 500 companies in there. I bought the vacant buildings for close to nothing. And when you put these Fortune 500 companies in there, we just put a, what are they called? Hang on, not Fastenal. We just put an air conditioning company in like 50,000 square feet in Prescott, Arizona. So it trades on the New York Stock Exchange. It's got incredible credit, and they're not going anywhere. I mean, they're investing so much money in their space. But so it's almost like a quadruple net lease, because they're going to take care of everything, the structure, the roof. They don't even want to be bothered. No one even knows I own it. So I guess where I'm going, as you progress in your real estate career and you have tenants paying their increases for taxes, you have tenants paying for their increases in the insurance, and you have tenants fixing their own damn crap, it allows you to focus more on finding deals, keeping things creative, and building bigger cash flows. So part of this philosophy that I'm about to go into, I saw firsthand. I spent 15 years in the commodity markets. And let me give you an example. You can walk in on this floor and you can see like there's pits. People, I hope if everyone can visualize, people yelling and screaming, buying and selling, 5 to go to 5, so they've sold. It just goes on like that forever. But you might have an oil pit, and then you have a gold pit, and then you have a silver pit, and then you have a coffee pit. They're not all going off at the same time. So maybe oil's trading like crazy. We just went from $80 to $50 a barrel. So I'm sure there's like a lot of activity there. And then so it kind of sucks up the liquidity from the coffee pits and the gold pits and the silver pits. And people are just sitting around like, oh boy, I wish I was involved in the oil pits because I'm bored and I got to pay my bills and my kid's going to college. So, okay, back to the real estate example now. I've taken that idea and I kind of said, okay, look, activity doesn't always create productivity. So it's so important to follow that principle in real estate. And I just sat down with someone yesterday who bought 30 houses over the last 2 years, and he's having a hard time finding houses. He's sitting around pulling his hair out. So I told him this story, which was, okay, well then maybe you should sell a few houses to keep busy, but you should also explore some other avenues of making money in the real estate field. So I get to do that. I get to do that in the shopping center business. I woke up today, I'm working on a lease with Lumber Liquidators in College Station. They just rented like 8,000 or 9,000 square feet for me. And then tomorrow, I'm building a $5 million spec house. Maybe I'll work on that. I don't know who's going to call me Monday morning, but maybe I'll take the call. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll take the message Monday night and I'll decide Tuesday. But every morning I wake up, there's not much of a plan. And I say to myself, where can I find the most productivity from the activity that I want to expend that day? Or shit, do I just want to go to a movie? So I know I just went off on my soapbox again here, but keep it interesting, keep it fun, stay lit up. You want to get involved in real estate. You got to take those first steps. You got to focus. You got to be the master of what you're doing. And once you master it, maybe you can teach a few other people, build a team, and then move on to the next asset class. There's so many asset classes, and they're not all busy. Warehouses have been super busy. Multifamily, I imagine right now it's hard to find a good deal. I mean, everything's trading so high.
Yeah,
so maybe that's slowing down. So maybe you should look at go find a shopping center with 3 vacancies that has 6 slots and buy 50 cents in the dollar. Go take out a Collier's broker, and next thing you know, he's going to charge a 6% commission to bring in a tenant, 2 or 3, and you just doubled your money. So don't just bury your head, saying, "Oh, woe is me, I can't find any houses." There's always a deal. And what that really means is there's always a deal somewhere in a different asset class as well. Yeah. I love all real estate, but I want to go where the fun is.
That's right. No, it's 100%. Every single, even the bad markets have a deal somewhere. You just got to look hard to find it. It's more difficult. Right now, it's tough to find deals, but not impossible. It just requires more effort to make that happen.
I mean, for crying out loud, I couldn't find a tenant for one of my shopping centers. So I went into the washateria business. So now, I've never done laundry in my life, but now I got $2 million invested in washing machines and dryers in 2 different locations. And I'm going to try to build 100 stores out of that. We'll see.
Yeah. No, I like that business. Only with new machines though. That's a tough business, but yeah.
Oh, like I tell everybody, bring your dirty laundry.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, so doing all this stuff, everything that you do, you have a commitment to also physical fitness as well, right? So I know that you do a lot of exercising. You
Mm,
keep yourself fit, right?
mm.
Maybe talk a little bit about that. Like,
Sure.
what are you doing these days to stay fit? Because we mentioned in the green room you were climbing these mountains, some of the tallest
Right.
mountains in the world.
Right.
What's your why
So
around that, and how do you keep fit with all that?
I'm a big believer in the morning routine. You got to get one. Everyone knows what it is. Everybody's talking about it. You don't need to know mine. You just need to know yours. And I do wake up. I stretch every morning. I have a few simple prayers, and I go through I have like 100 goal lists, and I decide which ones I'm focusing on today and for the week. And once I make it past all that, I get ready to. I have a trainer that comes to the house three times a week, 90-minute sessions. And before I know it, it's like 2, 3, 4 hours might go by in my gym upstairs. I'm texting, I'm having fun, I'm sending out the marching orders. But I'm a true believer in marry all this together. Take a financial goal. We all have them. You wouldn't be listening if you didn't. So, you're already in like the top 3%. And take a financial goal. And if you're not too physical, match it up with a physical goal. So I'm a big believer. If you can just picture like a dumbbell, one side is like a picture of a dollar sign, which is your financial goal, and the other side is a picture of some weights, and bring them together. So I've created an outdoors club with one of my buddies here in town, and we're climbing the 7 summits of the world. And I was a musician growing up. I didn't play any team sports, and when I was in the commodity business, I didn't live the most healthy lifestyle, if you can imagine. And so that's it. I turned it all around. I didn't want to go on Lipitor or anything like that. So I'm exercising. It turned into like my real estate clan, my group. Like 10 or 15 of us will go take down a mountain, and we'll egg each other on. And we're all involved in different types of real estate. We're learning from each other. We're teaching each other. We mastermind when we go away. A few months ago, we were in Russia for 3 weeks. I mean, what are you going to do with a bunch of guys on a mountain for 3 weeks? Mount Elbrus, the largest mountain in all of Europe, like 19,000 feet. What are you going to talk about? Real estate.
Real estate, of course. Yeah, that's what you're going to do. Of course,
and then, like 6 months before that, we did. Well, it was like probably like more 9 or 12 months before that. We did base camp on Mount Everest, and we have deals like we'll call it the Everest deal that we're working on, and we're getting ready to climb Mount Everest. So now we just put the financial goal together with the physical goal. And before that, I Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. So we'd like to name some of our deals after the mountains that we conquer or we're getting ready to conquer.
Nice. I like that. So it sounds like it's an integrated life, right?
Yes.
So it's not like
it's a lifestyle.
It's not compartmentalized. It's you're including the workout, you're including the family. Everything is part of one big life.
You just nailed it too. It makes it more plausible and more explainable why you're about to disappear for 3 weeks somewhere far away in the world from where you live with a bunch of guys. It's work.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy either, for sure. Now, what do you see the next 5 years looking like for your company?
So the next 5 years, we talked about taking things apart little by little, and I took apart the shopping center business little by little, and now we have like 1 million square feet. We're going to 5X it. So we've really put the plan together. It's like 3 years later. We got our book of business. I got 150 tenants that trade trade on stock exchanges. So I have a lot of connections now. I'm filling up empty centers with previous tenants that I already rent out to. So that's it. We're going to try to turn a $100 million portfolio into a $500 million portfolio. I don't have all the answers. It worries me every time I do a deal. I make a joke. I'm one step closer to bankruptcy. No, just kidding, everybody. You could make it happen, but you gotta be modest. You gotta be humble. You gotta help everyone else around you, and you gotta remember when the going's good, remain humble. We are definitely in good times. Most people haven't even seen bad times. I've been through the good and the bad, and I'm happy to be part of the good. And I'm gonna try to not 10x, but I'm gonna 5x everything. And I have my plan. I look at it every day. And that's it. I'm always looking to team up with people. if you're watching and you want to learn more about shopping centers and retail shopping centers and warehouses and all that stuff, by the way, my book is The Cashflow Mindset. It's a lot about the philosophy, the good times we just talked about. It's about buying a $7 million apartment building and sell it for $14 million, stories like that. And it's on Amazon and it's on audible.com. You can listen to me read it if you want. And I give out my phone number too, 713-503-5908. Get involved. I mean, just get involved. I wish I had a magic wand and I could just say, you're done, you're in, you're going to have such a fantastic life. Be careful. There's going to be some bumps and bruises, but make it happen, Captain.
But you know what, though? In a way, you do that through that book, right? It's all the mindset. That's where it all starts. It's where it all begins.
Right.
All of it starts there, and we'll include a link in the description so anyone can go ahead.
I appreciate the opportunity. I know we talked about a lot, but how do you really talk about? It's like $250 million of real estate over 20 years in 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the way you do it is one deal at a time. I mean, my goal is $1 billion. It's $1 billion deal flow. That's what's and I will do that.
You will do that in this apartment cycle we're in, that's for sure. I mean, people are spending $120,000 a unit now.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. Well, if you want to reach out to Alan, you can reach him via his website at greatpartners.com. It's gr8partners.com.
Right.
Thanks for your time, buddy. Greatly appreciate it.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. And it's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. And go back and listen to this twice because there's a lot of golden nuggets in it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the Bulletproof Cashflow podcast.